Welcome to another Seating Dynamics quick class. Today we're going to be focusing on dynamic footrest and how to determine which directions to include in terms of movement for an individual client. My name is Michelle Lang. Let's go ahead and get started. So dynamic footrests provide up to 3 different directions of movement. First, there's a telescoping or downward movement, and that's a standard feature on the seating dynamics dynamic footrest. There's also knee extension, as well as a plantar and dorsiflexion movement. So let's back up for a minute and talk about dynamic footrest. So dynamic footrests provide movement, and we just talked about those 3 available movements. By providing this movement, forces from the client are absorbed. This protects both the client from injury as well as protecting the wheelchair frame from breakage. A very common area of breakage is at the footrest hanger. Extensor tone is absorbed and diffused, and this reduces overall client tone and posturing. And movement is provided. And by providing movement, the client may be able to tolerate sitting in the seating system for a longer period of time, perhaps show a decrease in agitation and even an increase in alertness. And by providing movement within a limited range against a light amount of resistance, we might even see an increase in lower extremity strength. So the telescoping option is standard on the seating dynamics dynamic footrest hangers. Some clients might benefit from solely this movement, and this is pretty much those clients who have very tight hamstrings. So the hamstrings cross the pelvis and the knee. And if the client extends at the knee and those hamstrings are really tight, they're going to pull the pelvis right into a posterior pelvic tilt. So in these clients, we might only provide movement downward. We still have an opportunity to diffuse force and active extension, but keep the pelvis in a neutral alignment. Now, if the client can extend at the knee without losing the position of their pelvis, and of course, this is dependent on the seating system as well, correct? Then we would add in to the telescoping movement this knee extension. By combining the extension and this telescoping movement, we are mimicking the natural arc that occurs at the knee during knee extension, and this is our most common configuration. Now, many clients, when they extend at the hips and the knees, will also extend at the ankle into plantar flexion. And by providing movement at the ankle, we can provide further force diffusion. And this might be more tolerated by the client. So most clients with increased tone will push into plantar flexion, and then the dynamic component at the ankle will help the client to return to a more neutral ankle position. So if the client has active plantar flexion that you're observing, then this would be something that would be appropriate to add into a dynamic footrest. It provides some movement and active range of motion here. If the client is wearing a static AFO, for example, then that movement's not possible. And in that case, we don't recommend adding on that option. Now, to activate the dynamic footrest, the client's feet will need to be secured to the foot plates. Otherwise, as the client extends, their feet will simply move away from the surface of the foot plate rather than activate the dynamic component. So it's important to use some type of shoe holder with straps, ankle huggers, something along that line, but fairly secure to the foot plate. If there's much movement between the foot and the foot plate itself, then the system will not be as readily activated. So bottom line, seating dynamics dynamic footrests are available with 3 different distinct movements. Telescoping is standard and may be used alone for clients who have really tight hamstrings to keep that pelvis from moving forward into a posterior pelvic tilt. Elevating in combination with this telescoping feature follows the natural arc of the knee during extension, and plantar dorsiflexion allows ankle movement and can further reduce active extension in the client. If you have any questions at all, you want to problem solve a situation, we're very happy to talk to you. Just go ahead and reach out, and I hope to see you soon in another quick class. Thanks, everyone.